Welcome to another session of Let's Really Teach HVAC, the homeowner series. I'm going to start teaching you how to take a look at a really rotten heating system and do some things on your own to fix it. That's part of it. The other part of it is a little bonus thing here. If you take a look at what we're showing you here, this is my son's roof, and this is an error right there. We're going to talk about how bad this thing really
Here's
is.
an interesting thing that my son Mark. Now, Mark, come on over here. Come on over here. I want you to show you that I think my son Mark is intelligent. Take a picture of intelligent son Mark. All right. So up here, as you can see, the roof line changes. Mark said that when they built this house, it's one brick offset. When they actually, I thought about it. He says they should have been out to here. If it was out to here, we would not have an issue today. But somebody was the width of the brick off when they built it, and that width of that brick is what causes a small pocket behind here that allows the water, and if you look at this whole roof, the wind and the snow, all the pocket here, and then come down. Now, when I get down, I'm going to show you what that looks like when it leaks for a long time. This is a telltale sign that you have a water issue here. It's people look at it and say, "Oh, it's the end of the gutter." Well, we talked about being one brick too short. The roof comes down to here, and this brick is out, and that water is pouring behind and around that brick. There's no way to stop this the way it is now. If you don't have that properly flashed up at the top, it's been this way since the 70s. We are now in 2020. So we're looking at something almost 50 years that this damn thing has been leaking. Who knows how many people are here to look at it. The problem is obvious. I am not a roofer by trade. I know my dad was, but I'm not. I went up there and took one look at it and said, "This is it." Even my son, who's very all thumbs, looked at it and said he thought it was wrong in his way it was built. It took me a minute to look at it to find out that somebody was 4 inches off the width of the brick. Now it leaks. Now we're going to fix it. That's it.
Okay.
Hello, I am a basement dweller in my son's basement. This is my son Mark's basement. He is remodeling the basement, bringing it up to date, updating it a little bit. As you can see, the paneling on the wall has been painted, and the ceiling has been, he's redoing that a lot. So I said to him, this is a time to seal your ductwork. You do it now, you do it once, and it's done forever. So I got him a bucket of goo-wah, and we're going to start to seal. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show him how to do it, and then he's going to do it. So, but we're going to start here at the beginning. Everybody has one of these. It's a $5 taper. You can buy this at any office supply store anywhere. I use this all the time in the heating and cooling business. And you might say, why the hell would you use that in the heating and cooling business? Well, when one of my helpers gets out of hand, I usually tape his mouth shut. It works real fast. And this is flex tape. Now this is just flex tape. It can be any tape you want. You could have duct tape, metal tape, flex tape. The neat thing about this little tool is all of these tapes that you can buy fit on here. So when you're going to be out and you're going to be taping, and you got to go around this and around that, and you want to bring out a piece, this is the best way that I have found over 60 years of using this stuff. Is that so you can put this on there, you can do a full piece and wrap it around and start it. You can take it and cut off a small piece, and you always have control of your tape, and it's not a mess, and you're not searching for the end. This is the most valuable, cheapest way to cut down your time on doing this than you could possibly think of. So that's my friendly tip for the day, and like I said, if you can fit the roll on there, it'll work. All right, we're back onto our ceiling, And at this point, we're going to talking about the ductwork. We have the ductwork is here. We have, this is a return, this is obviously a supply. This is the worst duct job in the entire world because all of this ductwork is on one side of the basement. And on this side of the basement, the supplies run 3 feet, 4 feet, and you're done. And the other supplies for the other side of the basement, the idiots, ran it across 25 feet. So this is, we need to seal this, and it's like, we need to do it correct. The other problem, as you can see, anybody that knows anything about ductwork, you must have a minimum of 6 inches from this part of the tap to the end of the duct. And to build back pressure through the duct system to give you equal pressure through the system. So that's not done correctly either. So as we get done with this and work on this, we are going to do some things with the dampers to try and make this all work much better. So here we have, this is our bucket of goo. This is the way it comes. It's pretty thick. It's, I don't think you'd want to paint a wall with it, but when you have to put this in the cracks and seal the crack on these cleats. Now remember, this is the return. We're doing this too, as well as the supply, and both of them will meet because we don't want to pull the return out of the ceiling in the basement. We want to pull the return out of the room it services. So let's, and here, let's show the round duct here. We have every seam. Every seam needs to get painted. And you don't have to get carried away with it. You don't need to put it on an inch thick or anything. It's like painting, but with an attitude. And all of this, and there's a lot of it on a duct system to paint. And Mark has told me that the biggest part, and I can feel the air blowing out of here, right here. So that is a major duct leak in the entire house on every system that is put in. Because guys don't know how to cut out, or they don't bother putting that in correctly. So there you are. Now this is how you get started with it. And we'll do some, and then we're going to come back here and show it what it looks like in progress. And we'll take it from there. So in a couple, we'll be back in a flash.
Here we are, back at it. So Marcus got the brush, and he's been working on it. We'll just keep going over it and give him a little instruction as he goes. Make sure that every seam that you can possibly get to can be covered and sealed. And it's very important, supply and return as much as possible.
Remember, on the back side of that cleat on top where you cannot see it,
Yeah.
there's another hole. You gotta get that backside hole too. So Mark, what have you been doing this for what? About a half hour now, maybe? A little bit more than that?
A little bit more.
And what are you noticing about as you're going here? Now we turned the fan on so that the fan is running all the time while you're doing this. And we did that so that Mark can feel the air blowing on his face as he's painting it. And it's been pretty serious, hasn't it, Mark?
Yeah. Yep. But seal one up, you can still feel the holes left.
It's, yeah, it makes the other one stand out.
Yeah, it makes it easier to spot, maybe.
All right, here we are, looking at the seams that Mark tapes. This is on one of the runs that goes all the way across his basement. So there's another one over here that he just finished. And some of them he's taped, where it's easy enough to get at, and he is using, Mark, show him the taper that you got and what we're doing here. He put the tape on the tape gun, and it makes it much easier to pull it off and get that tape, and so you're not fooling around with it. So that's taped. And then we're coming to the end here, and you can see there was an attempt by somebody else, put some regular duct tape on. So long as it sticks, that's all right. But there's way too many holes here on this
fittings and everything else, and it's too hard to get at a lot of it, so that's where the GUI is going to come in, and we'll brush it on and get everything sealed up. Now when you hire a painter for 30 bucks an hour, he'd do a much better job than this, but you want to know something? It is sealed. Now it is really sealed, and we got it all the way around, and that's a good seal. Here's one of the booths that go up into the floor. You can see where somebody did make a tape on there, and Mark, you said there was a pretty good gap on the next one, right? So when you tape that up, but what we're trying to get to here, what I pointed out to Mark is, it looks good, but on the side of the boot, there's a little tab of metal there that has got a gap in it. That's got to be sealed, one on each side, and even here at the collar. That's a rolled seam collar, so that all he's going to do with the brush and the glue. So we're going to watch him do that.
Okay, with the brush now, you can get that little collar sealed. You can also get enough on top of the fitting too, so he's going to have to push the brush in there and get it so that he can get the top part too. These boots are really far up in the floor. I've never seen them put up that high. It makes it a little more difficult here. But it is very important to get it every hole, every crack, even on the sides there.
A combination of tape and sealant on the ducts to make sure that every seam has been sealed as best we can get it sealed. It's not going to be perfect, but Mark did make a super job of getting all of this stuff in between here and up above and on top. You can just barely see some of that in here. That's where he really said it took his time, got it all, and it was pretty tough. You had to do some with tape and some with glue. We're measuring here to put a heat run into the basement recreation room. And what's our measurement? We're going to take it, we want
10 inches.
10 inches above the floor, and we're going to go against the stud there. So make a line on the stud there, 10 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole through the wall. Against the stud. No, right against it.
Oh yeah. Does this look? Shit, I can't tell if that's.
Well, the stud's got a
Because the
crooked-
stud is bent.
Yeah, all right.
Hang
So,
on.
no, that's all right. You don't have to go totally against it. Use the go there.
Does that look like it's lined up?
I hope so.
All right, here Mark has got the hole to start with, and that's going to be the top and the right-hand side of the opening, so that he can go from there, and he's going to go 6 inches down and 10 inches
That hole is
across.
the top right-hand corner of the box. Make a mark on one. All right, now go from the floor up.
10?
Once the hole is marked out, everything is complete, then we can start the cutting process. But we do want to make sure that the hole is just marked out just slightly larger than the 6 by 10 opening that we are making. That will allow the boot to fit in there rather easily. And as you can see, he's using a skill saw. You can also use a sawzall, reciprocating saw type of saw. Either one will work, whatever is handy. And he's only cutting through the 1/4 inch paneling on the wall, so his wall depth is very small, and the jigsaw was really good for that. when we get the holes cut out, we're going to cut out all the holes first, and then we'll be making a material list of what we're going to need to do our connections. And once that's all done, those two things are done, we can go off to the local big box store and pick up the necessary materials. So drilling a hole in the corner like that gives the blade a nice spot, and the little jigsaw that he's using has a very fine blade, so you don't need much of a hole. Makes for a pretty nice cut too, as you can see. And as we finish it up here, we'll have one hole completed, and we'll try out the boot to make sure it fits before we move on to the next hole. And there it is. Fits in the hole. Okay. Now, there we are, making the mark one behind. Mark the hole just like we did on the last one. And, so we're marking on the wall, but the best laid plans of mice and men sometimes screw you up when you go on one side of the wall and you go to the other, and you find out that you're pretty much on the wrong side. Mark found out that he came out and reversed himself on the wall. He thought he was on one side the stud, and it was actually on the other side. So he just has to trace out new lines, and it worked out all right. He didn't cut the stud in half. He found out right away that it was wrong. That happens. It wouldn't be the first time I've done it myself. So here we are at Lowe's. We shop at Lowe's. My son is a veteran, and he gets a 10% discount.
Okay, I'm with my son Mark. Mark, say hello.
Hello.
Look at that beautiful face. He always looks better with a mask on. Okay, so that tells you when we're doing this during the COVID. Now, Mark is, we put 3 new heat runs in Mark's basement, and we're using the old boxes that were in the ceiling, but we still need some parts, bits, and pieces. So what do we need? Well, we have to connect the pipe to Mark's ductwork. And Mark is not a qualified sheet metal man. Most people are not. So he needs to get the one that he can do, and that's the first one right there, Mark. That one right there. Pick that up.
You guys need help?
No, we are
No,
help.
thank you.
We are the help.
Just one?
Yeah, no, let's show them what that is. Okay, we're going to do a little cut. Okay, so Mark just picked up this. This is what I call a homeowner collar. Any homeowner can pick this collar up and put it on and install it and do a decent job. You have to cut a hole out in the metal. We'll get to that later. But as you can see, and this is where you put the flex on, and then it holds here. Now you have this.
Hole
your
and then the
tab.
collar.
Yes, but you see, you got a rubber seal, and pull that tape back. And that rubber seal has a sticky, so you can stick that to the ductwork. That is made really well. That is a good thing for a homeowner, because you can get your good seal and you can get it anchored. So we got 3 of them that we're doing. So he's going to grab 3. And then that would be it, but you know what? We actually got the 4th one. We said we're going to put another one in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So grab a 4th one. Okay. So we're going to add one in Mark's bedroom in the floor. And I would like to do a 10 by 4, but we have to see if they have even such an animal here. 3. And there is a 4 by 10 to 4 floor boot. I have the tape already, and I will show you this. This is the right 3M tape if you're doing duct repair. See where it says right here? Silver HVAC tape. That's what you want to buy. We're in Lowe's. And here, talking about it, and I just noted this. There you go, folks. That bucket is just about right for the average house. That is a bucket of water-based duct sealant right here at Lowe's. Get yourself a cheap brush and have at it. Okay, here we are. There, down there is the ductwork. Mark is trying to find somebody. We need the flex duct from way up on top. The only 2 pieces of 6 we see in the store. Now, down here, we're still in the heating aisle, and here we have gotten to the floor register section of our little deal. And sometimes you have to be careful when you buy floor registers that you don't get them so that the pattern blocks off too much air, changes airflow, which you don't want. Or remember, people are standing on these things, so it has to be strong enough. As you can see here at Lowe's, they got a number of sizes, big and small, multi-directional. These sidewall and ceiling ones are really good. That's what we're going to be getting here. These are floor. Here the ground. These are really heavy duty. These will take a lot of punishment. And the better ones, the wood ones are fine. These seem to be a little better than most, but you better be careful with the wood ones so they don't block the airflow. And down here we have the wall return and the base return. The base return is the thicker ones. So we will pick out the ones we need in a moment. Sit down at the base, so we need to be thicker. 12 by 6. Is it 12 or 14? Do you know? It's not any bigger than that, are they? Or are they 14s?
So we grab the registers and the bits and pieces of metal we got, the flex duct, we head over to the register. Next time we're going to be installing it, so come on back and see how to work this metal and make it all happen.